doing a late stream. My hair has fluffies in it. I hate it. I showered earlier today, and it's just all immediately. There's weird shit in my hair. It's just like fluff or something. Or maybe it's nothing, and it's just the light. I can't tell. We're doing a late stream because I felt like it. We're gonna do, instead of Warframe, I mean, I didn't stream today, should acknowledge, I didn't do my normal stream. Today was shit, and weird and bad. We're going to just do a bunch of demos I downloaded, probably for a couple hours, but not too long. And yeah, that's all there is to it. So I got a few downloads. Let's transition over here. We got a few things. We got a few demos. We got backpack battles. I saw people were playing that. Don't know really. I think it's the one where you got to organize your backpack in a certain way or something. I don't know. Darwake, which is just disturbing. I don't know if we'll get. We're not gonna get to all of these. I have 8, and I know the first 3 I want to do. Dungeon Clawler, Dungeon Clawler, Dungeon Clawler. It's like a roguelite where you're like a claw machine or something, or you control a claw machine. Look cool. Iridescent. It just looked weird, and I like that. Penny's Big Breakaway is made by the people who made Sonic Mania, but I've heard the actual game is just okay, so I thought I'd try the demo. Sker Ritual, which William talked about, it was supposed to. It looked like like a spiritual successor almost to like Call of Duty Zombies, except apparently it's not very good. So I thought I'd try the demo and see for myself. Turbo Overkill, you are a man with a chainsaw for a leg. I think we're gonna do this one first. And this is What the Car, made by the people who made What the Golf. And yeah, it's all demos. We're just gonna see how many I want to play or how, you know what I mean. We're gonna do some demos until sorry, my mom is sending me Facebook videos. Oh my god. I was showing a video of a little girl feeding a bird, except she grabs the bird by the back of the head and pulls it towards her and then tries to eat the bird food herself. So yeah, actually maybe we'll do Sker Ritual first. I feel like I'm not going to be playing this for that long, based on the description I was given. Let's do it. Let's not even hesitate. So yeah, we're just going to do some demos today, because I just felt like it. Thought it'd be fun. And that's all. For how long, couldn't tell you. But we'll see. Wales Interactive. That explains it. The Bloody Wank. So from what I can tell, or from my perception, it was like a Call of Duty Zombies type, like spiritual successor. But William was talking about how it was like cool, but it had like a lot of elements that weren't very fun. So I'm checking out the demo. This demo does not reflect the final product as we endeavor to improve all aspects, including but not limited to squashing bugs, adding more features and mechanics, and maps in the coming maps coming in the future. If you enjoy playing Sker Ritual demo, please wishlist and follow for updates. I don't actually know if the full game's out. Upgrades. Perk upgrades. Oh, the UI is kind of laggy. I mean, I know it's a demo, but I feel like the UI shouldn't be laggy. Alright. Oh my god. The UI doesn't even function. Oh, come on, man. I'm trying to be positive. Enter, apply. Escape back. Okay, no, it's one of those apply menus where it applies but it doesn't close. I understand. That's on me. Let's do a windowed full screen, a borderless. A maximum frame rate of 300 seems unacceptably high. Let's go down to 144. I don't even think my monitor supports that. This is probably all fine. Man, I don't know. Let's do. We could probably handle the max settings. That help. You know, that's what I pay for. All right. All right. Profile masks. Give me. Ooh. This one looks like Honey Boo Boo. What is the dude from Nightmare Before Christ's Mist? Oh my god, the UI is so delayed. It's very jarring. I gotta slow down. Vengeance. I'm all about it. Menu backgrounds. That's kind of cool. That's cool. I like the customizable main menu is a cool touch. Am I this guy? Also? So all three of the male ones are whistling, and then the... Okay. Me when I yoo-hoo? Okay, let's just give it a go. Solo. Woken by a mysterious woman who tasks you to defeat a horde of freaks and stop a plot of world domination. Dangers around every corner and a mad giant on the rampage. Obey, fight, survive. We'll go on normal. We'll go on hard? Let's go on normal. This game's giving... I mean, I'm being a little judgy, but this game gives me an unfair vibe. I don't know why. It's because I'm biased against Call of Duty, which is often pure ass. Hold up. Controls. Oh my god. I really don't like the UI is like... It feels... It's like the... Everything holding... Like, everything staying highlighted for a second, to me, makes it feel like it's lagging. My arm turns into a laser beam, that's cool. What's up, Chief? Sirogiti. Hello. Everyone's everywhere! That was very fast. Okay, enemy critically killed. What's this? Armor for 30 seconds, I guess? I have one miracle. New miracle point, select a new miracle. Create a fire tornado? I'm in. I don't even need to read the others. Can I build this? I drank something. I think I wasted a heal. Revive for the life token. Oh, the melee is not... There's like a delay on it, which, fair enough. I just need to adjust to that delay. I still feel very close. It still feels very claustrophobic, even though I'm on 90. Like, usually 90 FOV is my sweet spot, but I still feel very... If I could figure out where it is it not interface? But this UI thing is because I mess over graphics, but then I see audio is also like highlighted. It might just be a me thing, but it is. It keeps making me think that I'm like hovering over the wrong thing. It must be in interface options, and I just missed it, right? Graphics? Oh, there, field of view. Let me turn it up a little more. It feels very close still. It still feels... Maybe it's less because of the field of view and more because the gun is large on the screen. You can't carry any more of this item. Do I have one? Is that the thing beside my health bar? Resupply for 250. Melee. Oh, it shows the cooldown on the knife. I have a Molotov on G. Triple points? I'm listening. I'm owning. I mean, so far so fine. Wait, let me, sorry, I not keep pausing. Let me do one more thing. Molotov. Put that on the mess as well. How do I throw the fire tornado? Damage amount. Increase critical chance by 10% for 20 seconds. Goes poison on quick melee. Am I supposed to be activating these? Oh, miracle. Miracles 0. I thought it was an O. Is there somewhere to go? You are not worthy? Decrease difficulty? Are you worthy? Increase difficulty. I mean, I went in on normal because I was just, like I said, when I think of Call of Duty and, like, balancing, I think of the time I played through the Black Ops 3 campaign on Realistic, and it was one of the worst gaming experiences I've ever had. That might be a little exaggerated, but it is truly horrible. It like, is really bad. Realistic is apparently an excuse for it to be terrible. Destroy the power generators and Laverne lock points. Abraham was summoned? Hey, man. I don't like this. I don't like that. No, open the door. I pressed the wrong button. Open the door. I don't like Abraham. I don't like Abraham! Okay, so I'm thinking of this as too much in terms of Call of Duty. I expected it to be like, you know, my knife falls off after wave 1. But I'm still kind of swinging on him. Abraham's a freak? I saw something flaming. Here, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Don't listen. So true, so true. Q? Was that flame tornado? How you like that, you little bitch? Does this pause the game, or am I still in danger? Adds lightning to your attacks. Yes. Half price. Oh shit. Let's see if we can find a gun. I like the aesthetic. They got like this like creepy aesthetic. That increases health. Oh yeah. Half price me. Or Bioshocking. Hello. I wasn't aware anyone was in. Y'all got guns somewhere? I'm not gonna have time. Man, this is doing okay. Why don't you balance a game like this? Like, if there's 2 harder difficulties and 2 easier difficulties, like, how do you... Like, game balance is one of those things that, like, very easy to not think about, but then, like I feel like it has to be such an involved process that you really gotta know what you're doing with your game. Give me this. Later, skater. Later. Ooh, Abraham! Abraham! Is this a heal? Yes. Can you slide? You can. Except it's on C and not control, and that confuses me. Crouch, put that on control. Thank you. He's shit, Abraham. He's pissed off. Oh, but Abraham, I have triple the points than you could ever fathom, Abraham. I keep hitting E to do things. That's not how you do things in this game. Eat shit, Abraham, you little bitch. Dude, the knife's still owning. What? I'm not used to this. Honestly, game feels pretty nice. I'm gonna up the difficulty. Maybe I didn't give them enough credit. I compared it too much to Call of Duty. Okay, I see now. Now the fire guys are appearing. Now I'm not having fun anymore. This looks like a weird mix of Call of Duty, Zombie Sniper Elite, and Bioshock Infinite. Honestly, I was kind of feeling like when I pulled that syringe out and I was stabbing myself, I was like, that feels very Bioshocky. Definitely big COD influence. Oh, was that? Oh, that was one of the generators. Oh, they're all in this area. Ah, I see. This was a center point. This is not where it is. Wow, the difficulty. Huh? What is that you got there, buddy? What is that you got there? You're shooting lasers now. I upped the difficulty 1 degree, and now we're shooting lasers. Hello? Who the fuck's doing that? The flame tornado, the haters. Wait, let me test this. Okay. Hold up. How does this work? Is this when I drink my juice? I think that's what is happening. Okay, so when I drink my juice, now I get this effect, I think is what that's saying. Bro, what the hell? Someone gave this guy the glick, the glack, the smick, the smack. Who's doing that? Bro! I need a moment. Thought you were using an M1 upon seeing it going full auto, now assuming it's based on an M14. Oh no, that's just me. I'm just clicking fast. It is semi-automatic. Semi-automatic, something, multiply. Yep. Hello. Do you work here? I have many complaints. I just got them gamer fingers. Okay, I think that's half price. I don't know where any other buffs are. Okay, I do not. This is the same thing as Call of Duty with those exploding guys. Especially because they're very fast. I hate when I kill a guy and I get punished. I really hate that. I hated the napalm zombies in COD. It always felt so bad. My least favorite. There's invisible fellas. I thought I saw something earlier, but I wasn't sure. I just assumed I was tripping. Hey. Miracle. Mark Solson shooting enemy. Ooh, penetration. Damaging an enemy has a 1% chance of increasing damage. Nah, man. Penetration. Abraham was summoned. Let's fucking go. Okay, let's focus on this more. It's hard to do these tasks without getting pushed into a very poor position. Abraham, is that you? Half-price fire tornado for all you bitches. I really hate also when the screen goes blurry and stuff like that. It's just like really disorienting. And in a horde situation, it's really hard for that not to turn into you just getting bodied. I want to be able to see. Abraham, you gotta get going, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not hating this, but it does feel a little. I don't know. I don't know what the. Oh, a map. Descend into hell. Get to the underground chamber. Yo, shut the fuck up, Abraham. It does generally feel hard to get cornered and get the shit kicked out of you in this one, which I think I like. Is that... Are they teleporting? Oh? What is this? Oh. Alright. Shh. Don't yell at me. There's so many varieties of zombie. Or whatever these are. Alright, you gotta get out of here, Abraham. You're really messing with my steez. Just stabbed it. He doesn't care. Abraham, go away, man! I can't progress with this story with you looming over me. How do I pack a punch my S.I.E. Ragoti? They also... My one biggest complaint is just special zombies spawn too much. I don't know. So far, I don't mind that there are a lot of them. It's just a little hard to discern everything. Like, it's a little overwhelming. But I don't know if that's just because I'm adjusting still to the game in general. The one thing I hate is just, like, my screen getting blurred or, like, having, like, a fire effect on it. Like, that I just hate. No collected experiment or horde blaze slinger. You to be slinging blaze. Heal all allies. Nope. Slows enemy, damage enemy, slow enemy. Yeah, slowing enemy sounds cool. I hate Abraham. I want Abraham to go fuck himself. I can't deal with Abraham. All these other fuckers are like... It feels like I just have like a couple seconds to deal with Abraham between waves, and then when the next wave spawns, I have to focus on them or I get yoinky sploinkied. Death Scythe? Sudden death. Oh. Oh. I was hoping they'd give me a scythe and I could start chopping people in half. I don't know where to go. Which never should have gone in a building, that's for damn sure. Like, I also can't explore the story elements while I'm getting swarmed. Like, I don't know, is this a door I can go in? Let's open. Let's get opening. All right. Are you going to be taking part in Final Fantasy V-4 Job Fiesta? I don't think I even know what that means. And by I think, I mean I definitely don't. Well, it's been real. Stop the Elite Maker. I don't know what that means. Seems way too easy to get just caught in that house. I don't know if there are also any other perks around the map I've been missing out on. I think a very subtle thing I'm appreciating about Call of Duty Zombies, actually, is that the zombies taking a while to start actually spawning in really gives you just that little bit more time you need to figure out, to get your bearings on the map a little bit. Apparently I failed a trial. That's funny. Can I have this? I'm dead. Dude, these guys that shoot lasers can consume... Who is this? Who the fuck is this? Abraham? Abraham, is that you? Abraham? That's for failing the trial? I didn't even know there was a fucking trial. I was dead. Isn't Gubert Gumbanji? Gubario? I don't remember I got that health upgrade. Oh, grow up. He's very fast. Hello. What the fuck, man? Why is he so fucking fast? Let's take a drink. Don't I already have this? Oh, I guess it stacks. Oh, I see. I'm very oppressed right now. It just feels like I have no leeway to do things. I'm so overwhelmed. Is this the health? I didn't see what this one was. Swift to death. Bullet speed? Double tap? I can't read what it did. Who's walking? Abraham! At this hour? I don't remember where the health was. I also don't know where the game wants me to go. Blah. Oh, is this the health? Pardon me. Never go indoors is what I'm learning very fucking fast. You keep the health perk when you revive? Oh. More guns? I would like to look at those, but now is not a good time. I hate this fucking field. That's for damn sure. Stop the Elite Maker. Okay. Stop that. I don't like Abraham, man. Go to the underground chamber. Okay. Is it over here? Okay. Okay. Cyberpunk. There's a nearby enemies are on the okay, electric cherry. Understood. This gun sucks. Safeguard. This is an overwhelming video game. I am overwhelmed. Wait, hold up. I can't slide. I changed my thing to crouch to left control, but now I can't slide. Just literally, I mean, it's, yeah, the influence is pretty heavy. Then it gets to the point where you gotta kind of ask, like, at what point is it too much? Poison stab. I don't think I'm using my gun anymore. Maybe a 1% chance isn't that bad. Nah, give me lightning. I'm doing a lightning build. What, tripling they damn points? Oh, nice. I got Jebediah Diary node. That's not an exit. That door vaguely in the direction of my objective, don't go that way. This? Oh. Nope, also not. I mean, let's be honest. This okay. I keep getting baited, man. Oh, another set of guns. Is this already what I have? Kill quiet ones within the radius of the machine to extract their essence. Oh. Call of Duty's never done this. This is original. Abraham, get the fuck in here. I don't care, I'm leaving. Pack a punch. Did I do it? So tired of doing that with sarcasm. Yeah. Move speed. Cthulhu? They got him? Do it again. Not enough points. I didn't see how much it was. $16K, god damn. Okay. I don't know, like I don't hate this. It's okay. It sort of feels like something's missing. I don't know. What's going on with you? Try your luck, okay. I feel bad saying that because like there was clearly a lot of effort put in here, but I don't know. It's just alright. But I also don't know how this would compare to the full game. Numerical. Penetration. No breathing. Get the Siren Cylinder, the Medusa Cylinder, the Server Cylinder, and the Hero Cylinder. What if I still don't want to? Where'd Abraham go? We were having so much fun. I hate this field is the worst thing of all time. No haters allowed. I don't know if I'm going the right way. I truly do not know. Oh. It's only 5 dudes that made it. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not bad. I'm not having a bad time. But I kind of feel like I got my fill already. But I kind of feel that way every time I play a game of COD Zombies anyway. I don't like that it's so hard to explore. Like, the next wave's already starting, I don't know. But, like, traveling while you're doing stuff is just, like, a surefire way to get absolutely killed. Stop the machine. Hey, machine, stop it. Eliminate the banshees. Alright, hold up, what? I thought I was doing something. Okay. This is a Wonder Waffle? Real subtle on that one. Come on, okay. Shoot metal scarecrows with the thunderbolts. Dude, this game is so fucking overwhelming. How do you expect me to do all this stuff in a time limit? Stop the machine. I got 20 seconds remaining. What machine? There's 400. This one? The red one? Stop. This is just a coincidence I happen to be anywhere nearby. I don't even know why I got this gun. For good behavior? I guess. Grow up, you chunky fella. I don't know where to go for these, also. Wait, what? There's only one point on the map now? This? Oh, I see. Alrighty. I can't see anything. Are you metal? I can't tell. Oh, you. Oh, you're like a normal dude. You? Destroy the electric cages with the thunderbolts. Okay. Charge the Tesla coils to unlock the cylinder. Ow. Oh. Oh no, he's stupid. Ow. Hello? The wave hasn't started? This game's interesting. The wave hasn't started, then why did I put my arms up? Boo this man.
Death and discord came new order through the iron will necessary to impose it.
Relieve depression, boo Ben. Boo!
There is still so much to do. You cannot let it end this way.
Shut up, bitch. I've been in the cryo tube for 800 years.
There is no time to delay. She must be stopped. Mother has sent what she calls the Quiet Ones to stop you. But you cannot allow them to. You mustn't. The only way to stop them is to kill them first. On your feet, soldier. She is trying to use the radio transmitter to broadcast her message.
That's pretty cool.
Siren song.
Let's talk about what Ben said, not the game. This is doing nothing for me. I'm out of here. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It feels a little shoddy. I just am not impressed. It just... It's okay. I don't know, it's fine. I don't know, it didn't do enough for me where I'm like, I gots to. It was just fine. Alright, we're gonna play Turbo Overkill. You are a man with a chainsaw leg. No hesitation, no inbreeding. Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding. We're doing it. Alright, I wasn't even looking, but I liked what I heard. It's chunky. It's got a chunky aesthetic. Hey. Virgin blood, regular Joe, street cleaner, serve me pain, or murder machine. Stanley Parable as a demo. I don't want to download anything right now, but I'll keep it in mind. That is a game I really should play. You know what? Fuck me up. Fuck me up. Head was so good at psychology. Fuck all your feelings, I'm proud of me. Read up about enemy weaknesses in the bestiary. Isn't it the chainsaw? Isn't it always the chainsaw? Sin is all you need.
We have arrived, sir. Best make this a quick trip. Paradise isn't a place you want to be for long.
If somebody's called Paradise in a cyberpunk setting, you know it sucks ass there.
The Sin virus is rapidly spreading its tendrils across the city. Your mission?
Hell yeah.
Purge it at absolute.
Just wasted the whole damn
Good
thing.
hunting, sir.
Oh! Oh, it's speedy! Oh, it's speedy! Okay, so right click's like a lock-on, blow-up thing. Left click's like, oh, I'm already kind of down bad for this game. Is this limited? Hold left control while moving to slide under the gap. Associated the dash overdraws can be used twice before it needs to refill. Whoa! Hold on, with the current weapon secondary fire mode, your magnums come already equipped with a lock-on firing mode, but other ones will need to have their muzzle unlocked. Okay. I'm dying. This might be a difficulty for people who've played the game before. I guess. And yet, I don't care. I'm a sadistic little bitch. Oh, I chopped him. Hold up. First of all, secret. Second of all, I think there's another way to go back there. Third of all, go up more. I've seen this before. I don't know how popular this game is. Might be known. It's so fast. If you chainsaw slide into a red barrel, you'll explode. Write that down. I've been playing Titanfall 2. I got my movement mechanics down. Use the chainsaw slide to kill enemies. The faster you slide, the more damage you inflict. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. Oh, yeah. Hold up, who's this? She's beautiful. They really let you go to fucking down. Unfortunately, I can't aim for shit. Luckily, I don't need it. I got a chainsaw leg, bitch. Oh. Understandable. Alright. What the hell? You gonna move? The spooky chainsaw. The greasy gobbler. Whoa. I can't aim at this velocity! Zuma Deluxe, which started as a Facebook game in like 2008 as a Steam demo. Oh man, Zuma's still kicking? I know Zuma. Me and Zuma go way back. Yo, this is a fucking vibe. And the vibe is kill them all. But not in real life. Haha, I wouldn't do that. Be careful you call ugly in middle school. You never know when they're gonna come back with a goddamn chainsaw leg. Bro, once I get my aim good, I'm going to be unstoppable. The problem is I have to get my aim good. The R key does not make you reload. You just put on a new gun. All three collected. Weapon wheel, hold Q to access the weapon wheel. Quick save, F5 and F9. Okay, F5. Can't quick save on murdered. Wait. Oh, you cannot quick save on this difficulty. Help me. If you need some free skills for any potential future resumes, you can always add can make minute rice in 57 seconds. I can't do that. Don't project that onto me. I don't like that. I'm not dust.
Beyond the slow humbling of time, beyond flesh, virtue
Don't follow me.
I see. And I see all.
My health bar! I need that! They really rob you of your shit in this game. You know, I'm also on the hardest difficulty, so... And it's my first time and I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh. See if it drops a hex under bow. I like this guy's style. Okay. I'm eating cock. I'm not kidding. How do you melee? Stay bitchin', bitchly. Ow, my skin! I need that to do my fucking taxes! I'm coming in there! I'm coming in there! Okay, I gotta get my bearings to an extreme degree. You lived, bitch? Okay. I'm gonna calm down. Oh. Where'd they put secrets? Yeah. So, wait, let me figure something out here. Yeah, so you can just do some boostage, but you can also just do some disgusting slide. I feel like if I hadn't been playing Titanfall 2 already, I would not have just thought to do that. Like to try to crouch slide. But I've been playing Titanfall 2, so it's in the mind. Yeah, speaking of Titanfall 2, been having a great time playing it. Hello. I broke it. I forgot what I was saying. The level in Titanfall 2 where they're building like a prefab house around you for the whole duration of the level as you go through it is so fucking cool. That level's awesome. It's possible. You know. Press the vendors to purchase items or upgrades. This is a gun shop. You can use these to upgrade your weapons and buy ammo. This gun shop is a free of upgrade available for your Waster shotgun. Whoa. Charge up 3 explosive rounds on the Waster by holding Alt Fire. Understood. Understood. Who would like to suffer? Someone has to do it. Okay, fine.
Johnny, hey, where's the fire and brimstone, man? We need that virus purged now.
I'm working on it, am I,
Monster
John?
in free fall. We can't pay you if we're broke.
How much money do I have? How do I know how much money I have? Oh, I have 0. Agreed. Hey, you can't spawn me there. Hey, now. Oh. What is that? Yup. Give me yup. Me mama till I fucking come. Yup until I fucking come. Have you considered this? I don't need a key card. I don't need a key card. I don't need a key card. I need a key. I don't need a. Have you considered this? I don't need a. You can't wall run in this. I just think you can. I don't need it. I don't. I don't need a key card. Fuck, man. Have you considered this one, though? I don't need a key card. Fuck. Have you considered this maneuver? I don't need a. I don't need a key card. I'm cheating. Oh no. Fuck. Where am I? Oh, I thought he died. I thought he died again! He loves living. I don't need a key card. This time it's poison. It actually wasn't. I forgave them a while ago. Hey. Don't do that. Fuck. I feel like you had a kick knowing Afroman came on the radio the other day, and I immediately went I was gonna smoke some weed, but then I got high. Oh man, oh my god, I forgot about that. I was gonna smoke some weed, but then I got high. Ooh. Shit. I was gonna smoke some weed, but then I got high. Ooh. fuck, I forgot about that. I'm doing this. I don't know if this is it. I'm committed to doing this. The wrong way, perhaps? That's fine. I need grenades or something, man. I'm serious. Oh, wait. I have that. Purge the sector! What's going on in here? Fuck! I'm amazed to listen to that song we were doing that since that Rock League game where I messed it up. Oh man, I forgot about that, but that's that makes me laugh. Classic. Oh, I just skipped to the end of the level. Alright, that's gamer shit, but I'm gonna go actually do the level because I haven't even experienced it normally yet. This storm is poisonal. I can't fucking see. I keep thinking I can wall run. It's causing me a lot of problems. Hey, there's a barrel there. Feature speedruns right unlocked. Oh, for sure. When I do my speedruns, I'm definitely using that bad boy. The speedrun of this would be fucking mighty. Can you imagine the potential, all this movement? Loser! I need this health. Help me! No, you don't have to reload, brain. You don't have to reload. Give me your money! Okay, I kept thinking the green was the health earlier, but it's not the green. It's the blue. I'm gonna shred you, you little weirdo. Oh, I shredded the little weirdo. Green is ammo? Yeah. Moving as moments reminiscent of Brink. Never played it. Unless you're talking about the movie. We come in peace. Doubt it. That's not a man. My bread and my butter. R is not the reload button. You don't need to reload, dummy. Fuck. Try me, bitch. Chomp my ass, you stupid haters. There's a movie called Brink, right? Did I make that up? Hey! We selling. Oh, right. That sounds fun. Give me your goddamn innards. I have nothing. Splice today! They got through my hail of bullets! No prisoners. I think I got them. Can I get a soda from the vending machine to heal? Yeah, okay. Terratech crates contain free augment upgrades. Find a Terratech key nearby to unlock the crate. Once you've acquired the augment, you can use a gene machine to modify your augment loadout. Okay. Oh! Now, is this one going to be a freebie, or am I going to actually have to look for this? Yo, this game's fucking dope. It feels good to be the king. Hello. It feels bad to suck ass. It really do. Alright, what we got? Armor Collector. Armor Collector. It's 6 armor on chainsaw damage. Yes, sir. I saw chains and I chainsaw. Ghost. Rust. You sneaky little freak. Oh. No one told me I sucked wiener. Or that life was gonna be this way. Wow. And they definitely didn't say that I'll be here for you. Yeah, I already figured that one out. Still too broke. You're a broke ass
I've located
bitch.
another biocore in the vicinity. Once you've purged it, I'll come pick you up.
The biocores is Sin's connection to the physical world. We originally used the cores to speed up the augmentation process. Now, Sin's using them to pump out whatever godless abstract madness it can imagine. Make the biocore.
Sorry.
I've located another biocore in the vicinity. Once you've purged it, I'll come pick you up.
The biocores is Sin's connection to the physical world. We originally used the cores to speed up the augmentation process. Now, Sin's using them to pump out whatever godless abstract madness it can imagine. Make the biocores say bye-bye, and Sin'll sink like a stone.
Yes, sir. Obtain the blue key. Huh? Did I miss it? Or is that in a different place? I can't tell. You know what? I'm gonna focus on this. Hi! Splice your DNA or something, loser! Hey. There are barrels! The barrels explode! Clap, 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 clap. They force my too fast brain to slow down and process things. Oh, that was the blue key. Hold up, I thought I heard someone. Oh, I think I maybe heard him. Whoop! Hey! No! Love video games. I never get to be cool in real life, but this is pretty close. This is doing it for me. It's nice. Alright, good call, dude. Thanks for hanging out. Nice talking to you. As always, nice hanging. We really should hang out and play some games sometime. I feel like we never do that. I want to arrange like a game night thing, but I never know when people are free. Anyway, I'm not going to talk at you. Get you some sleep. Enjoy your sleep. Have a good sleep. Oh, I whiff. This game fucking rumbles my scrot. Sorry? I didn't mean to say that. I was lagging. I would never say something like that normally. Something absolutely deluded and insane. I like that the idea that they get teleported in and I'm behind them and they're like, oh, where is he? And then I cut them in half with my fucking chainsaw leg. Oh my god, the viscera all over when you... Oh! Yummy. Over here, boys. I fucking love this. Yeah, the white women! I found out where they're at! Just kidding. Don't worry about it. Oh no. Oh, this is the guy I already murdered. They just didn't have a cool cutscene for this. Or that one, because type sequence broke. That's cool. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Ooh, hard countered, loser. Just kidding. Unfortunately, my hard counter is much simpler. I get shot once and I'm out of here. I missed. I think I might go ahead and buy the whole game. I think there's a possibility that this is indeed my jam. Ah! Once I get out of this water, you guys are fucked. I did not expect ammo conservation to be a big thing in this, but I am having trouble with that very thing. I'm also not dashing enough in the air. They're giving me these splicers, but I only have one thing. But I guess maybe like I got New Game Plus or something, you'll end up having more money. I don't know, maybe you keep stuff on New Game Plus. Healing on chainsaw. Oh, these are augments I can then put on, right? Splice to meet you. I don't know if that's what he said, but that's what I heard. And now we sequence break again just to assert our dominance on the video game. What? I lagged, I think. So you have like 2 dashes, but also if you hit control again, you do a little forward burst. Yeah, so you can't wall run, which I definitely something I was trying to do subconsciously, but no, that's not a thing. I mean, since this is the demo, I'm not going to go out of my way to search for secrets, but usually I would. Yo, this game's fucking sick. I love it. This is so cool. I don't know 100% what kills? Just killing everybody is a thing. Alright, yeah. Turbo Overkill's dope. Recommend. We're gonna leave it at that. As much as I could play more of that, but I want to do. Let's do one more demo and then call it. I'm torn between Penny's Big Breakaway and What the Car. Also backpack battles. Ooh, let's do Dungeon Clawler. Let's do Dungeon Clawler. It's a hard game name to say. Hi, we are Stray Fawn Studio, small indie team from Switzerland. Thank you so much for checking out this super early alpha demo of our new game. There isn't a lot of content in the game yet. Many things need to be polished, and bugs are lurking around in the corner, but we hope that you can have a good time, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Super Bunalot. Scrappy? Are they different? They are different. The second claw is always a big magnet. Get 1 strength if you collect at least 5 metal items at once. Your health is increased by 10. Start with each fight with 5 block. Collect items using your claw to fight enemies. Hover your mouse cursor over things to get more information. Use WASD to move. Use the A and D keys to move your claw. Space to drop, space to close. Manually, optional. Backspace to skip your turn. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I guess I attack based on what I pick up. So he's defending, and he's doing 9. So does how? Oh, I see. So a big shield is 10 blocks. So I want a big shield. So that's gonna be like too much block. I'm gonna block too much damage. But then now I want to just assault them. Oh, but the magnet is also cheating. Oh, and if I get 5 things at once, I think I also get... Okay. So I want to try to get 5 things at once with the magnet, I think? Oh. Wait, the magnet seems sick. Okay, these guys are going full attack. So I'm gonna do this. That obviously didn't work how I thought it would. Why did I don't know why I thought that would push stuff left. That's not how that works. I just want big blocks. Ooh, that was a little strange, don't you think? Oh, that works. I'll just kill one. Alright. What are the little fluffs? Or is that just literally, it's just filling it out? Alright, now I just... Oh, big sword. I didn't even see that. Deal double damage with picked up alone. Well, we're not picking up things alone. We want to pick up many things en masse. Unless... Okay, never mind. Just get a bunch of stuff. So I assume this stuff now goes into the... Okay. Roach money. Attacks the last enemy for 3 damage and shrinks 3 items. I feel like defensively we're doing fine. This concept is already very cool. Let's get more money. I assume this is like, so it's like a Slay the Spire style map, but they probably haven't flushed out like maybe a directional system like Slay the Spire has. So it's just a straight line. Okay, so we know we can get the piggy bank if we're feeling safe, but I think for... So a mistake I'm already making is I gotta wait for the claw to stop moving before I come down. I'm gonna get bodied. Cool. 15. I think I still need a little more armor, but I don't think the magnet didn't seem to, yeah, it only picks up metal stuff. So I should use my big claw for defensive and then use the magnet to get my damage. Can I also get the piggy bank? Ah! It really evokes that I should have gotten the big shield. That was greed. Oh, but maybe... Is this... Yeah, nearest enemy for 10 damage, so I can just kill this first, dude. And then I'm good. So immediately I can already say that I'm very excited for to see where this concept goes. Oh, don't drop that sword. Oh! But I like that it invokes that same feeling, like when you're at a claw machine and it's like, please, and then it drops it, and sometimes you get to hold on. I like that little bit of tension. This is very cool. I keep on feeling like I have to hold space down. Also, that's just me. Poison turns water into poison water. Normal water makes wood. Cloth and plastic items float. Turns water into poison water. Turns fluff into poison okay, nope, too much. Increases block by 15. Okay, so resets though. I guess the question is, can it get to 0? If it gets to 0, that's not amazing. Here's the amount of items that can get dropped into the machine by 10. Ooh. Oh, these are both sick. Oh, but they're so risky because they're so large. Oh, yes. Yes. Nice. Okay, that's huge. Because now... Wait, is that huge? Maybe that doesn't work how I think it does. I thought there'd be more stuff. Maybe I don't understand. And by maybe, I mean I don't understand. Okay, so the fact that this is plastic is relevant, because that means the magnet won't work. This is an important distinction. We're taking some damage. Oh my god. Okay, we can kill the first dude. Give me some cash. Some block, some damage. Oh, we got a big old... Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Dude, the magnet's sick. It's very hard to... I should try to get more metal items so that I can get my strength up. I feel like I gotta spend my early game getting my strength up so later I'm smiting my foes. Oh, that's what the symbol in the bottom left means. It's metal. Which is, again, important. Game 5 block at the start of every turn? Remove its block. These both seem kind of sick. I'm hurting a little bit. I'm gonna go more defensive. Especially when we're coming up to a boss. This enemy intends to buff itself or others. Okay. Now the armor doesn't go away, so we can... Actually, we might be able to get 5 metal things if I go to this side. Because, like, if I do, like, Curish, maybe we grab the sword, and then... I can't tell. Is that 5? Yeah! We got +1. Now, is that for the fight or permanently? I think it's for the fight. Wait, did my armor not go up? Oh, oh, he dropped it! Yeah, 1 block at the start of each... Actually, let's do this. No, the piggy! And then just... Oh yeah, we're eating good. Oh, we're eating good, brother. Deal 1 damage to the attacker when being attacked. Oh. Please! Oh. I guess this is go full aggro. We're taking a lot of damage, but... Oh, wow. Gain 1 strength every time you increase damage. Increase the amount of fluff in the machine by 10. So I guess maybe there are builds where you want all this fluff in there. I don't think I have it, but interesting. I'm gonna do decrease the health of all enemies, because ideally... Oh yeah, now we're expanding. The floor will break when walking over this crack and create a deep hole, preventing you from walking over... Oh, I see, so one or the other. Coins to upgrade, coins to gamble for new items. I'd rather upgrade what I have. Oh, I heal the fall every time. This enemy tends to heal itself or others. You're stupid. I hate to inform you that you're a goddamn idiot. You know what? Give me the money. I thought he was gonna drop it and I was about to fight his dad. And they're just gonna waste their turn healing? I'll freaking fold them. I keep holding the spacebar. I need to not do the... Oh... You know what? Give me the armor. If we got any swords on the way? Hey, I ain't go. You simple, simple fools. You thought you can defeat me, Scrappy the Bunny? Foolish. Foolish. Hey. You go ahead, try it out, heal me. My DPS is immaculate. Oh, I almost bounced this shit. Hey, oh, the daggers are damn tease. Y'all get bodied. This is glass. Attacks the first enemy for 2 damage and gives you 1 dodge. Only once per fight. It's metal, so I'm taking it. That feels like it could be sick with an upgrade. This enemy tends to modify items in the machine. I don't like that. That's not your business. I think we just start with grabbing the money. Anything else we get is bonus. And then the magnet can get us going with some damage. And no brass knuckles? Oh. So now we have a dodge. He made my shield bigger, which is not good. Brain said that's good, but Brain is wrong. That's bad. Dude, this is a awesome concept for a game. I'm loving this. Come on, give me that. It didn't even move. I was looking at this guy. Try me, bitch. Oh, you lose your block at the end of a turn. I thought you kept it. I guess that makes sense. This body armor would not be as good. Yoink, 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 sploink. No, wait, no. My brain saw big shield and was like, that's good. It gives more armor than normal. No, it doesn't. The big shield does not give more armor than a normal shield, than a normal size shield. It is just larger. I'm dumb. Where's all fluff inside a small radius into gold coins? Oh, fills the machine with water. Oh, this is also metal. Oh, we gotta build. We're winning our first run ever. Where's all those large radius? 24 bucks. Okay, let's look at our options. 3 damage gives you 2 dodge. We can rich gets richer this shit. So if there's 5. Oh yeah, 5 can up here. Right, duh. But they're all 24. Let's just do like some richer gets richer stuff. Let's just try to, you know, make more money. Now the problem is I do have to pick it all up. Oh, and that doesn't actually, oh, it does it in the machine. I guess wait, the coins are metal. Oh, wait, I've accidentally made a god run? Because now now I'll get a strength bonus every time? Okay, wait, can I drop manually? Because I could because I could just drop the Hand of Midas into a different spot, but maybe not. Wait, that's such a sick combo. I'm cheating? I like the Morning Star. Who are you? Introduce yourself. I want to know ya. Give me all these shields, please. Huh? Well, that's no good. We're about to get bodied. Ow. Give. Okay. Wait, what is this? This enemy intends to hide? Something? I saw hide, and then I also saw the word machine. I'm worried there's a bomb in here. Give me all this money. Oh! Oh! Oh, you're doomed. Drop that coin in, y'all. Okay, my health situation isn't great. I see metal, I meddle with it. I think I want to... Actually, no. Let's get the dodge. No. Let's just grab this. I wanted to sort the piggy bank out. Oh my lord. This guy is healthy. Block does not reset between turns. Uh-oh, that could be a problem. Okay, we gotta keep up consistent damage then. Oh, the shuriken with the poison could be really good here. Come on. Nice. Not as nice, it'd fall down. Okay, he's poisoned though. 25? What the fuck? Uh-oh. Can I keep up with that? Okay, the dodge will help a lot. Hopefully the poison does work. We'll dodge this attack so we don't need any shield. Oh. Okay, now we definitely need shield. It's a good start. Oh, great start. That gave way more than I thought. Oh, double when picked up alone. I like that there's that angle. Very tactical, really cool. So many things fell out. Okay, that poison is working him though. He's doing 39 fucking damage. Please, please don't drop anything. I need it. Oh, you are stupid. Just, I don't know if we win this. This is spooky. Okay, I can't afford to, I gotta be picking up the arbor. Or $1? I'm gonna get fucking rinsed. Okay, 10 armor turns big. I can't be taking any more damage though. I gotta be careful. Just keep giving me these. Does this stack? Is that broken? It seems a little insane. That feels abusable. That feels like crazy strong. 20 poison. We only take 3 damage. We can kill him right now, I think. We just gotta get through the armor and he's dead. I hope this is enough. We got it. Woo! Tempting. 1 damage. I don't really understand Hoarder. Maybe it's if you have a lot of items. I'm just gonna do the health. Use your coins to dispose of items, random. I'd rather upgrade what I have. I'm going. Fish in a diaper? Fish in diaper? He's adding items to the machine. This bomb guy seems like a problem immediately. I don't like the cut of his jib. Oh, infinite power. Oh, right, I forgot I heal. I was playing scared a bit. This guy's gonna blow up. Like, he's certain, almost squirtingly he is. Fine, don't need that. Wait, what are these little... Oh, those are bad. That little motherfucker put those in there. Explodes at the start of the enemy's turn and deals 50 damage to the player. A problem. What if I just dodge it, though? Oh, no. That's double damage, though. The magnet is suddenly a boon. No, wait, a boon's a good. A bad boon. Okay, we gotta kill him now. A bane. If I can get the Mason's dagger, it should be an... Oh my god, I'm gonna hurt myself a lot. Oh, that's fine. I haven't been poisoned. Attacks the first enemy for 2 damage. The damage is multiplied by your strength. We get this, and it starts stacking up as we get more metal stuff. You don't know what awaits you here. Hit me with it. You see a strange, ancient-looking altar in the room. What do? You can have a small shield. It was duplicated. Alright, I'll take it. Dude, give me the paperclip buff. Exponential. And we have so much money! We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. Ancient looking chest sits in it. Open it. The chest was a mimic. You lose 5 health. Well, kill it. We can't just let him hang out. Okay, we need some shields. Ideally, that nice plastic one. Don't fall! I still need more. Actually, the dodge will do. If I can get that. Oh, or we could just body him? I think I've accidentally... My first run ever is... outrageous. He just dies? Give me more brass to knuckles. Dude, this is gross. I feel so powerful. More powerful than ever I was expected to be. That's not ideal, but manageable. So he's 3 times, yeah, so I'm taking those. I'm taking his. I need defense. Ah, I was worried about hitting the edge. Oh, no. Not great. I really wanted the barmer. Ow. I think just go for the kill. Yeah, he's dead. And more strength. 1 to 15 would though. You know what? Reroll me. More paper clips. Start each fight with 5 blocks. The heals also wouldn't hurt. Let's go. Alright. The Moth Queen. Let's get this as soon as possible. And start poisoning. And start stacking our strength. Reflect the next attack or debuff back to the attacker. I don't like you doing that, actually. I think you should turn that off. Oh, I gotta do something. That's fine, not that much damage. I mean, this is a lot. Oh, unless I dodge it, which I totally forgot I was doing. Just gotta grab a pile of stuff. Just going for mass. Just give me 5 different things. Give me a strength bonus. Did I not do it? He's deflecting once again. I gotta be careful with that paperclip. If I get like a bunch of strength stacking, I could murder myself. Oh, I really should have tried harder for that dodge. So I got 5 things here. Oh, but one of them didn't go in? Okay. I need the dodge. Perfect. And then... wait. Alright, because you also attack. Right. Now, does it dodge the attack I throw out, or how does that... Or no, it doesn't matter. You don't deflect. You're dead, so that helps. Dude, I'm owning. Retain 10 water? There's always a 20% water inside the sheet. I don't have a water build. I don't know what that's about. The first item used each turn is used twice. This sounds like it could be disgusting. You got me messed up. I think I'm pilfering this entire land. The land and all its goodies are mine. So close. Does a lot of damage. Money. Oh yeah, no, there it goes. Okay. I thought I wasn't giving me the strength, but I was. Lord, to give me the strength. This guy's dead, so I don't respect him. I think this guy's also just screwed. Yeah, that's good. That's the whole turn. And just pull a little money in. Doubles your strength once per fight. A part of the room is occupied by a small pond. The air feels moist and warm. What do you do? We'll drink from the pond. Ew, the water's putrid. You have a bellyache and lose 5 health. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Don't shame me for it. I was just a little thirsty. I just want this. Ah! Just get rid of the guy in the front, please. Oh, thank you. Oh, bonus. Killed the other guy, too. Now, thwack him. Thwack him hard. Yes. Let's see. Yeah. Why's he sad? I'm sorry. Is it 'cause I'm about to exterminate you and your friends? I guess I'd be sad too. Double money? It's fine. I would rather the double armor. Actually, I guess I could just, you know what? Everything's fine. Yeah, we're good. I've accidentally built the God Run. Actually, I say that, but I still feel very fallible. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Knock that in, thank you. Oh, and we double it? Yummy. Yummy. I think we just get this block going. Or the dodge, that helps us avoid a good big chunk of damage. Also, killing him helps avoid a big chunk of damage, actually. A little pro tip. If your foes are dead, they can't hurt you. Dude, the magic mirror is disgusting. Alright, this isn't metal, but increase your strength by 2 is too good to pass up. What about 4, though? What about upgrade that? What about upgrade this? What about upgrade you? How about a little defensive upgrade? Probably isn't a bad call. All my foes are doomed. I want this shield. Okay, that's good enough. They're only hitting once, actually, so I can just get these blockers, or the dodgers. That also works. The enemy tends to apply a debuff to you. I would really rather you didn't. Does that double if it's alone? It does not. Oh, but it goes twice because of Magic Mirror, and that's gross. And illegal. Oh my Christ. He's pussoned me. You're doomed. Oh my god. Okay, I need something. If I can get something sustaining. Hard fight. Agreed. Why is he so sad? I don't want you. But. Oh. Whoa, oh my god, everything's rocketing. Oh, we're about to get fucked up. Ooh. We're about to get very poisoned. I did not want this. Any chance the big sword wants to go in first so I can, like... Oh, wait, no, I don't have magic mirror for this. It's okay. Well, it's not okay, because the armor's gonna... And then we're gonna take 21 damage. Wait, that's real bad. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're doomed? I don't have any strength, so that really didn't do anything. How do we live this? I don't think we do. Hold up. The shuriken kills the slime. Then we just go for mass, and I think that might be enough as long as not too much fall. Oh wait, no, we're good. More defense. I'm gambling? Attacks the nearest enemy for 5 damage, increases damage by 10 each time it's used. Resets after each fight. Yeah, I want to play that. How do I... Oh, I see. Simple. Simple. Ugh. I want it. This thing seems insane. Ugh. Let's go. Okay. Alright, we gotta be real careful here. Ah, shitting. Okay, that's enough block. Now we just go for damage. Okay, one big attack. We just need... We don't need too much block. The poison enemies are really the ones that are just doing their dirt, causing me a lot of problems. I got 20 block a turn, that's pretty sick. Please bring the... I wanted the big sword. Ow. No. Ow. Oh, it's getting too close. I think I'm dead as hell in the boss. Oh. Oh. What is this? I'm dead as shit on the boss. Chest, please. Oh, healing, 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 healing. I want all the healing you can muster. Don't drop a goddamn thing. Okay, we got a chance. We're in it. Oh, and the magic mirror works here too? Alright, we're in it. The Moth Queen once again. This time she's pissed. Pisser than ever. Increase your strength by 4. I want to have the armor things. Well, that's not good. I want the armor things as soon as possible. I want to start being able to stack that. Well, that was terrible. That was an absolutely dreadful turn. Double strength at the end of every turn. Oh, fuck. Penis. I don't want to use... my dodges yet, because I feel I'm gonna need to dodge some way bigger attacks soon. I need to get these syringes. Perfect. What a horrible waste. The syringes are not magnetic, of course. Anyway, they get smacked. It's fine. It's not too bad yet. I need the strength. The rings aren't... Oh, right, they're not metal. I gotta go for them with the claw. Shit. I totally forgot about that. But the other things are in the way. They're so tiny. Alright, I would love to dodge this attack. Please don't drop the brass knuckles. I really need them is the thing. There's a chance. There's a chance. There's a win condition here. I need the brass knuckles. Do not drop these. Now I have to kill it this turn. Impossible to do. Especially if I get nothing. Oh no! My perfect run! So close. So close! Oh! Cool game. Very excited about the potential there, especially if that was like really early alpha, like they said. With that, I'm gonna call it. This is fun though. This is fun to do some demos. Takeaway, Dungeon Clawler. Keep your eyes on it. Seems like a promising game. I don't think, yeah, there's early access. Oh no, it's not even out yet. I'm excited for what's to come with that. It seems really cool. What else? Sker Ritual. I don't know, man. It seems fine. Turbo Overkill, fucking awesome. Also already available for purchase. This is this has been out. This has been out, and I will be getting that full version whenever I can. I mean, I literally can, but I'm gonna wait and be responsible because I got other games on the go. Thank you for watching the stream. Hopefully I'll be live tomorrow at a normal time, but we'll see. I don't know. Mental health is a bitch. Take care of yourself. Have a good night, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.